At this point, the player will approach the farmhouse and find their first collectible to be a key code to be used later. The player will approach the door, finding it's locked and must be knocked down in order to enter inside. The player will pick up a rock, knock over the door, and enter the building. The second key code will be found inside, and the player will notice that there's a locked safe that will require them to build a bomb to open it. The player will also find a generator to be used later. The first bomb piece is collected by climbing on top of the bookcase by stacking up a couple boxes. The player will enter the den and find a second bomb piece as well as their first piece of jewelry in the drawers. The second generator will be found as the player crawls underneath the fallen shelf. The player will not be able to enter the workroom, but must throw a book at the button through the hole in the wall in order to open the door. Once the player enters the workroom, they crouch underneath some debris, find their third bomb piece, and are ready to open the safe. Before leaving this room, they find a table saw with a box on it, and will activate that table saw to recover another piece of jewelry. Once the player heads back to the living room, they will be able to open the safe and get their third piece of jewelry before trying to advance outside. Seeing the fire, the player will come over and use their key codes to put out the fire. Red plates will indicate danger. If the player steps on one, they will receive damage immediately. The player will then go outside and traverse the chasm by moving pieces of wood to build a bridge. The player will open the door to the barn by moving consoles over to their color-coordinated pads and using a generator to power on the consoles. The player will be able to enter the pen to gain another generator, and then they must figure out a way to bring down the ladder by throwing a rock at the spinning fan. The ladder is deciding not to work, so I built a little makeshift stairwell for right now. The player will not be able to open the door. They must smash the console on the ground, giving them access to the secret room. Once they enter, the door will slam shut behind them. They will be locked in. The player will open up the briefcase, finding their last piece of jewelry, and then they will have to smash out of the hidden room to advance to the next area.